YouTube feed. We'll see it. We'll see it right when the audience sees it, but we'll have a delay. He won't. We'll have a delay though. This is exciting. You do play with a lot of nerds.
Hey, there he is.
Look at that nice blue sweat quarter zip, I think is what that
is. It's a quarter zip, and it's an old school one. It says CBS Sports line on it, so I'm going retro today. Okay, I play with a lot of fantasy nerds, and that means that there aren't a lot of trades to be made because everybody thinks they're so smart. I'll give you an example. The only trade that's been made in one of my fantasy leagues happened yesterday, and I was involved in it. I'm loaded at quarterback. Like I've got Lamar Jackson. I picked up Bo Nix off the waiver wire. 14 teams. Bo Nix was out there. I traded Bo Nix and Tank Bigsby for Chuba Hubbard. And I'm one of those people that think that Chuba Hubbard's still going to be good even after Jonathan Brooks gets acclimated into the Carolina offense. And I think the Jacksonville run game just is a little overrated with Bigsby. So I felt good about that trade, but that's the kind of thing that happens in a lot of my leagues is that trades there's just too much resistance to deals in those kinds of leagues.
So we're at that point then, the midway point, and we can always award this at the end of the year, but I know each and every year we do our various awards, and I don't think this is what we call it, but I'm going to name it the draft pick of the year, that just the one that you picked that was way overrated, whatever, and generally not counting injury because you can't do anything about that. Just the player you pick, and just by this time you're just like, is that player Anthony Richardson?
Yes, there's no question. It's a brilliant call, and a lot of the times when we start thinking about players in fantasy, we think about their upside and what can they do. And in the case of Anthony Richardson, in his rookie year, we saw a smattering of that. And we even saw it in week 1 of this year. And just the dude totally regressed in a major way. Like, I don't think his footwork was really good this year at all. I thought his accuracy clearly was off. And when Joe Flacco went into that offense against the Steelers, I think it was week 4, he was awesome. That offense really popped. They should have never turned back to Richardson after that. And now they won't, because they're still a playoff contending team. They've got good wide receivers. It's a good offense. Their play caller, their head coach, very smart guy. I would imagine that we will see Flacco at least in the next 3 games as the starter for the Colts. Once the Colts are out of it, then they go back to Richardson. But terrible analysis and advice from the fantasy community to rank Anthony Richardson as high as we did.
And honestly, not you, but just in general, because everybody missed on that. Just to finish the thought, whereabouts was Richardson going on average in most leagues?
I want to say round 5 or round 6.
Wow.
Dave.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And then Dave, is Flacco, you mentioned like their offense is better. They got good. I think the team is just better with him. Where does he rank this week for you fantasy? Where should he be on someone's list? If, I don't know, maybe he's still out of the wire or he's a backup. What would you do with Flacco?
I think Flacco is a borderline starter. I've got him 12th this week. We know that he will throw a lot, and that is something that the Colts will do. He needs to have a favorable matchup to help him out. And I think he's got it this week against Minnesota. I really like it for his receiver, Josh Downs. I know everybody thinks that Michael Pittman's going to be the guy who's going to be the number 1. It hasn't been. In the 3 games that Flacco played, Josh Downs has been his number 1 target getter, number 1 guy as far as catches, and at least 15.9 PPR points in each of those 3 games. Josh Downs is a top 15 receiver. If you're in a fantasy league with only 9 other people, smaller league, you might even be able to find him on your waiver wire. You should double check. And you should try and trade for him too. Whatever you give up in trade for Josh Downs, it should be a discount compared to what he should be at the end of the year. Now, I say all that because I'm projecting, I'm doing the exact same thing that we all did with Anthony Richardson before the year started. We're projecting greatness, and it's not a guarantee. So it's based off of what Joe Flacco is good at, what this receiver is good at. This week, I love the matchup specifically. But could he go and be a top 10 receiver the rest of the way? Josh Downs? I don't know about that, but top 20, I think he can be that. And this week, he's top 15.
Dave Richard joining us, CBS Sports. All right, let's move to the bane of many existences over the last 2-3 years in fantasy football. I'm talking about Kyle Pitts. There have been signs and signals, and obviously Kirk Cousins being there was one of them preseason. But as you know, there may not be a player in fantasy football over the last couple of years that has been more frustrating. You want to talk about upside than Kyle Pitts, but last week, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 4 catches. Is he or has he been sort of moving up the list for you? Can we believe in Kyle Pitts yet, Dave?
It's been 4 straight weeks of at least 10 PPR points, which is good for a tight end. I think you can believe in Kyle Pitts. And I'm tired of making excuses over why he's having success. And the reality is that he looks good. He's a part of a good passing offense when that quarterback isn't pressured. And I think it's going to continue to happen. His last 4 games, he's had at least 8 targets in 2 of them, at least 5 targets in all of them. And his last 3 of his last 4 games, at least 4 catches. So I think he's earned the right to be a safe number 1 fantasy tight end. This is not something that I saw coming. I thought he would have another bad year. I thought Drake London would be awesome every single week. Yeah. London has it's 1 week that London's fallen off, but we'll see if that continues or not. But I do think Kyle Pitts, he'll have some bum weeks in there, but I think he's going to be good to go.
Should we trust what we saw last week from Jameis?
Yeah. So about that. So I don't know if you watched that game, because who would watch a Browns game, but
Florida State's Jameis Winston. Sorry.
Yeah. And like I've told you, one of my favorite Seminoles.
Yes. That's
he on his second to last throw, he threw it directly to Ravens safety Kyle Hamilton, and Hamilton dropped it. And Dave, you're laughing because you've seen that throw from Jameis Winston
a long
times in the NFL, and I'm not exaggerating. The very next throw was his last throw of the game, and it was a touchdown to Cedric Tillman. That is I think it was an 11-point swing for fantasy managers. And he still would have had 20 fantasy points with that interception and without the last second touchdown. But the fact is that Cleveland's identity on offense changed dramatically when they went to Jameis Winston. And I don't see it changing. 2 things. Number 1, Jameis is just, he's a gunslinger. He's going to put that ball in tough spaces. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's a lot better than what they had with Deshaun Watson. Number 2, Ken Dorsey, University of Miami's Ken Dorsey, is the play caller for the Cleveland Browns these days. And the reason why he got sent out on the last train from Buffalo was because he threw the ball too much. And I think he's going to do that in Cleveland. I think that they see their path to success through Jameis and not Nick Chubb. Of course, there will be some games where Chubb gets going, but we really haven't seen Nick Chubb look explosive yet. You know, he's coming back from that big knee injury. So I think we can buy into Jameis a little bit. Where do I have him ranked? Because I bet that Jason was going to ask me that. He's kind of low. He's 14th. But then again, 14th for Jameis, it's not bad. Probably my favorite bye-week replacement quarterback. So if you've been starting Brock Purdy, Jameis is somebody that you can turn to this week.
That's a perfect way to wrap up as we talk Jameis Winston. You bring up Ken Dorsey, who doesn't quite bring the chills that Gino Torretta does when his name's mentioned, but still plenty of damage done back in his day. And oh, by the way, I believe that this is me trying to gloat about my team getting destroyed. I believe I said to you, if it's below 21 points, which was the line, I would be absolutely shocked. And again, this is somebody who knows college football right here. We lost by 22 points.
You must be so proud.
My guys did it. They came through in the clutch. Boy, it must be nice to watch your undefeated number 6 Miami team go against their arch rival and really, once the game starts, Dave, never really worry about it.
First of all, it was cathartic.
Uh-huh.
Second of all, like it wasn't the funeral that I was hoping for. How's that for a sentence?
You wanted 52 to 10.
I wanted to see the Hurricanes kind of tear them apart.
Yeah.
And they didn't really do it. Like Cam Ward did not have a very good game, but they found ways to win. The freshman quarterback, how do you pronounce his last name for FSU?
I pronounce it. I don't watch that much, and I don't care.
Smith.
Yeah, Fred.
Wow,
dude.
I finding out that you're not like the diehard Florida State fan that I've come to know you as?
No, it's honestly, it's a tough. You're talking about Luke Kromenhoek, by the way, and it's a tough. Mike Norvell just got distracted by a flashy light or something, watched movies in I don't know what the hell it is. And we're going from a guy who led a team to an undefeated season and what some say not me, but what some say is the biggest snub in college football history. I don't say that. To they might be buying him out. This is Willie Taggart-esque performancing here, David. So, yeah, it's rough. It's rough for me.
It is, but you should at least know, like, the freshman quarterback's name.
I knew what it was. It's not like I vamped until I could Google and remember his name.
Google it.
The power of video. He sees you now.
I know that. I don't like this. Where can people see, watch, and hear your lovely voice and lovely face?
I'll be on at 10 a.m. today, CBS Sports Network, going over fantasy football starts and sits for week 9. We'll give you an update on all the injuries. And if that's not enough for you, I just finished doing part 2 of the week 9 start sit episodes on YouTube.
Ugh.
You can go to youtube.com, search for Fantasy Football Today, like and subscribe to our channel there. And of course, CBS Sports Network at 10 a.m. your time.
It's my favorite episode. Starts and sits, part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yes,
one of the favorites. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Great
First
background.
time in, how long have we been doing these spots? It's over a decade.
Over a decade. And who knows? Maybe we'll do it again in the future, depending on your schedule.
I think we should. It's good stuff.
That's Dave Richard. Check him out and listen to him. He is the absolute best. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys. Good luck in your leagues this week.
Thank you. That's Dave Richard, CBS Sports. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's not one for, it's not two for.